Hello and welcome to another Overlord lore video, and today we are going to take a look at the last King of Re-Estize and the way he met his end. But before we're going to do so, let me thank my Patreons for supporting this channel. Furthermore, I say thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function who made one-time donations. Now with that said, please also check out my fantasy channel, link to it is down in the description. Now with that said, let's start with Zanec, who, after realizing that every escape route had been blocked and all borders had been sealed off, desperately sought a way out of this predicament he found himself and his entire nation in. But instead of good news, his sister Renna revealed that Marquis Raven had betrayed the kingdom and joined Einsulgon in exchange for his life, and more importantly, that of his children, and his domain, Elibera, was indeed spared from all of the death and destruction the army of the undead would bring upon Re-Estize. But Prince Zanec didn't want to yield without a fight, so he assembled the greatest army the kingdom has ever seen by mobilizing the entire capital city of Re-Estize, which by the way is also named Re-Estize, so every able-bodied man was conscripted. And since the people realized that this was an all-out war, that either is won or ends in the death of everyone, the definition of able-bodied was likely expanded considerably. Also, the capital city received reinforcements from the lands that were not yet conquered. And despite gearing up for war and putting his own father under house arrest in order to end fruitless diplomacy, this didn't mean that Zanec wanted to fight at all cost, and therefore he asked for parley, which had been granted. And this was an incredibly brave moment for Zanec, who faced the specter of death itself, without any guarantee that he would be allowed to talk before being killed. But Zanec and Ainz did talk, and Zanec asked the Sorcerer King if there is anything that he could do to end this war. But Ainz then revealed that the war itself was not an end, it was a means to an end, which was happiness. Ainz needed to be the overlord the children of his NPCs wanted him to be, and if this meant the death of the kingdom's subjects for the happiness of his own subjects, then so be it. The kingdom was already sealed off, no one would be able to intervene and prevent the destruction that was yet to follow. And once other foes would see the cost of resisting Einsulgon, further bloodshed could be avoided. Punish one, teach 1,000. Or sacrifice 8 million people of the kingdom in order to prevent millions more from committing the same mistake. The threat of total destruction should prevent further wars, uprisings and rebellions, before they even occur for many centuries. So without any hope of peace, King Zanec returned and wanted to prepare for the unavoidable battle. But the army was not only cornered like rats, but it also behaved in this very same way. A good chunk of the nobility rebelled, and had taken Zanec's head in order to appease the Sorcerer King, who, remember, had already refused the king's very own head. Prince Zanec was a great king. Among the royal family he was the only one who wanted to genuinely help the nation to heal and prosper. He wanted to be a good king, and he had the intellect and the ambition to do so. While his brother wanted to reign in order to satisfy his ego, and Renna wanted satisfaction of another kind, Zanec was a true king, and remained so to the bitter end. Zanec was short and fat. He was not tall and handsome or charismatic as his brother was, nor beautiful and beloved like his sister, and in any other anime and light novel, Zanec would have been just the pervy half-brother, hating his tall, handsome and just firstborn brother, and wanting to bet his sister or something like that. In Overlord, he was the only good guy, trapped between a power-hungry oaf and the princess of all Yanderus herself. And sadly this lack of charisma in this situation was his downfall, for a good chunk of nobility had no faith in Zanec, and wanted to avoid war with the Sorcerer King at all cost, in order to save themselves, if nothing else. And remember, the Battle of the Cuts Plain was a recent event, and still haunted the kingdom to this very day. And therefore they cowardly betrayed him, marched into the king's tent, and demanded his surrender. And Zanec realized, at least in the novels, that if he would have been as powerful and as strong, or had the swordsmanship and training of at least his older half-brother, that he would be able to fight them off. but being as short and fat and untrained as he was, he stood no chance. But, true to his family's honor, the last king stood his ground until the very end. And so the last king died, with his head becoming a cheap trinket to gain the favor of the Sorcerer King. But through the talk with Zanec, Einsulgon himself gained a massive amount of respect for the leadership and the selflessness Zanec showed. He saw him as an equal, as someone who fought just like him, and who wanted to genuinely serve his people in order to make them happy. The very thing Einsulgon decided to do by attacking the Kingdom of Re-Estize. He wanted his NPCs to be happy, and if he had to be an overlord to satisfy them, then Eins would sacrifice everything in order to see the sons and daughters of his friends smile. And that's precisely why he was so disgusted with the lowly treason the nobles had just committed, and ordered them and their families tortured. He wanted them to beg for the same death they tried to escape by decapitating King Zanec, and Einsulgon granted them their request. They would live alongside their very families. But even when they now begged for the death they so feared, their suffering would still extend and go on for a long time. Neuronist Painkill would make sure of that. And with that, Einsulgon lost his interest and the army of Re-Estize lost their lives. Now, quick side note, it was bigger than the army of the Cuts Plain, 400,000 strong to be precise, but it was wiped out in mere minutes. And also in the books, this happened off screen, so we didn't really get a great and awesome and epic battle. And with that said, I will end this video. Thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Bad Guy Ye, Bad Burrito 316, Bezer, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Duckwagon, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Viral Shivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chiromius, Kylar, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Mervek, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, Oh Hell No, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pentum, Personage, Primus 11, Q&A Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rak Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm and Zonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.